NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Raiders.
In the best Hollywood fashion, two teams are backed into a corner. Will the script be followed and one of them rally for the playoffs? Well, they have some work to do. The Raiders are 5-6, hoping for a wild card. The Patriots will likely have to settle for a spoiler's role. They're 4-7. Art Shell thinks his Raiders just need to win. The playoffs will take care of themselves. Raymond Berry says the playoffs are not impossible for his Patriots, but almost. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath with you from the Los Angeles Coliseum on a beautiful, sunny Sunday afternoon in Southern California. A couple of fine runners on display today, Joe. One of them, Bo Jackson of the Raiders.
Bo Jackson and the Raiders would love to get their running game going, but I believe they're going to have to throw the ball and throw it long to be successful against the Patriots.
And John Stevens of the Patriots will be doing his thing. He comes off a big game against the Bills last week. Jeff Jager will kick it off for the Raiders to get the game underway. Taylor and Tucker deep for the Patriots. And Tucker fields the ball at about his 5. Nice cut. He's got some room. There's a flag down as Tucker is tripped up at the 42-yard line. Jeff Jager, the kickoff man, had to make the stop after a 41-yard return, but there are penalties down against New England. So a 41-yard Tucker kickoff return will be nullified.
It's interesting, too.
Illegal block, number 30 on the receiving team. First down.
We have the team in the NFL with the fewest number of penalties, and the Patriots going against the team with the most penalties. And who gets penalized first? The Patriots.
Here's a look at that New England starting offensive unit. 8-year veterans Farrell and Babb anchor the offensive line. Grogan has started the last 5 games. He's the 3rd Patriot starter there this season. Stevens comes off a terrific 126-yard game against Buffalo. And in the New England Jet offense, you see the changes. Receiver's a key man. He's the 2nd leading receiver for this team. First down, the ball spotted at the 10. Robert Perryman gets the call, and nothing there as the Raiders meet him at the line of scrimmage and throw him back. Here's a look at that Raider starting defensive unit. And the word around the NFL is that Howie Long is back, shaking off a couple of injury-plagued seasons to return to Pro Bowl form. Benson leads the team in tackles. A mix of veterans and youngsters in the secondary. Anderson has 4 interceptions. In the Bandits, 6 defensive backs come in. Haynes and Lee replace 2 linebackers. And, of course, you expect a lot of Raider terminology with this defensive unit. We'll show you in just a moment how the Raiders term their different defenses. Right now, a 2nd down for New England. Grogan with a pass in the flat. It's complete. Close to a first down to Hartley Dykes, the rookie 1st-round draft choice out of Oklahoma State. Jerry Robinson made the tackle for the Raiders. It's a 10-yard gain and close to a first down.
Hartley Dykes at 6'4", 218 is nifty. He's not only a possession-type receiver, but he can break the big one with his speed. Coming on strong after a slow start. He missed most of training camp, and he's still feeling his way as he goes along.
Well, we were talking about that Raider terminology. Look at the terminology they use for their different defenses. The Pirate with 5 defensive backs, the Bandit, the Desperado, and the Outlaw with 8 defensive backs on the field. Just short of the first down, only inches away. Perryman has the first down for New England. Robert Perryman with his 2nd carry of the day. He's the 2nd leading rusher for the Patriots, behind John Stevens, who has yet to see the football. Mike Wise made the tackle for Los Angeles.
Well, New England has kept Stevens out of the game until this play. We see him in the backfield. Now Perryman will go off right tackle, then cut back for the first down. Of course, there's good pursuit coming down the line by Wise, but I was surprised to see the Patriots open up with Irving Fryer in there. 3 receivers and only 1 running back.
First down play, and it is John Stevens who carries for the first time, getting only a couple of yards before he's pounced on by Greg Townsend. Townsend having a great year for the Raiders. Their leading sack man. He's forced 5 fumbles in his 7th year out of TCU.
Well, Raymond Berry says this Townsend is one whale of a pass rusher. He plays the running game nicely, but he is the best pass rusher the Raiders have.
There's Raymond Berry. Interesting matchup of coaches today. 2 Hall of Fame players matched up as head coaches in the game. Art Shell and Raymond Berry. Cedric Jones in motion. Again on the ground. Stevens looks for a block and can't get it. Hauled down for a loss of a yard on the play. And once again, Greg Townsend got penetration and played the run well. And there was Howie Long alongside to help out.
Well, New England got their guards out in front, Farrell and Fairchild, but they forgot to block number 93, Townsend. Watch the guards pull nicely here. 3 of the guys actually come around the line, but Townsend doesn't get blocked, and he just comes from the backside to make the play.
It'll bring up a 3rd and long for the New England Patriots. 3rd down, 8 yards to go. This is the opening series of the game from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 6 defensive backs on the field for the Raiders. Grogan from the shotgun. Good protection. He's hit as he releases it, but it is complete for a 1st down. Hartley Dykes with a shoestring catch, 18 yards and a Patriot 1st down as Grogan released it just as he took a hit.
Well, Grogan told me, Tom, this offensive line of his has been doing a well of a job giving him protection. They've only given up 24 sacks all season. One of the best battles of the day is at nose tackle. You see Golik, number 72, going against an old teammate of his in Babb at center. Actually, it was Long, number 75, that lined up at nose tackle that time. But the protection that these guys have been giving Grogan has been tremendous. They've had to throw the ball while they're behind, and it's tough to protect them.
Big 3rd down conversion for the Patriots there. They're in business at their own 40. That pass is complete to Lynn Dawson, the tight end. That's his 8th reception of the season, and he takes it for 5 or 6 yards before he's pounced on by Jerry Robinson.
Good 1st down play for the Patriots. What they want to do is avoid the 3rd and long that they got out of the last time. The Raiders expecting run, and of course Grogan just goes right over the middle to Dawson. He doesn't catch many passes. Dawson's better known for his blocking, but certainly if he's open, Grogan's going to get it to him.
Raymond Berry told us yesterday they like to mix up their offense, especially on 1st down, as they went past to the tight end there. Perryman in motion. Stevens being chased behind the line by Howie Long and then tackled by Lionel Washington, who came up from the corner for run support. Long was chasing him. Stevens couldn't turn the corner. It's a loss of 2.
Howie Long won't get credit for that play. He won't get a statistical credit as far as the tackle goes, but that man right there, 75, made the play. He whipped his man at the line of scrimmage and forced Stevens wide. Now Long, having recovered from a series of injuries, is playing his best ball actually in the last several years.
Yeah, though both the Raider coaches and Patriot coaches says he's back in Pro Bowl form. He said to us yesterday he feels fine, says you can decide how I'm playing, and the word is he is back. 3rd and 5 for New England. Grogan steps up to avoid the rush and sails it out of bounds. He just threw that one away, and the Patriots will have to punt. Irving Fryer was the closest New England player to that ball. Howie Long once again involved in the play, putting on the pressure with Jerry Robinson coming on a blitz also.
That's right. The Raiders brought 4 rushers that time, and Long is the one that forced Grogan to step up, and he just didn't have an open receiver by that time.
4th down, and Jeff Fiegels is on the field to punt. Fiegels is averaging 38.6 yards a kick. And Stephon Adams will be deep for the Raiders. There's Adams, number 44. Some pressure on Fiegels as he does get it away. Adams fields it at the 18 and is hit and driven out of bounds. 36-yard punt with a 7-yard return. Patrick Egu made the tackle for the Patriots. No score. For their first possession of the game after the Patriots stalled a little bit. Interesting matchup. 2 teams, I guess, with their backs to the wall as far as the playoffs are concerned.
That's why I like this game. This is a must-win game for both of these teams. We're going to see a battle down to the wire. It's put-up time or shut-up time for both of them.
Patriots had a couple of 1st downs before having to punt the ball, and John Stevens, the top runner for the Patriots, not really able to shake loose. Let's see what Bo Jackson can do as the Raiders have the ball for the first time. Steve Beuerlein is the quarterback as the Raiders put it in play from their own 24, and Beuerlein will go to the air. And he has a man. It's Bo Jackson. on a pass reception to the 45-yard line. 18 yards as Beuerlein to Jackson for a first down. Fred Marion had to chase him down to save a longer gain.
Well, you get Bo Jackson on the left side of your screen. You'll see him break under a linebacker. I like the way Beuerlein checks the other side of the field first before he comes back to Bo Jackson. Beuerlein got up a little bit slow that time. He has a bad knee, and that time he got it bumped a little bit.
Bo Jackson will line up at a wide receiver at times. Here's a first down play, and he's the tailback. There's the give to Jackson, and Bo gains only a yard or two before he's hit by Tim Gove, the nose tackle of the Patriots. Let's take a look at that starting LA offense now. On the offensive line, Raider coaches raving about the talents of rookie right guard Steve Wisniewski, second rounder from Penn State. Beuerlein has been fighting injury, a partially torn knee ligament, but he says he's okay. Jackson, too, has been bumped and bruised, held to only 50 yards against Houston. In three wides, Alexander is in for Dial, and East means that Fernandez and Galt will line up on the same side. We'll see that sometimes from the Raiders. 2nd and 8. Beuerlein stands in the pocket and is almost intercepted. That one should have been picked off by the Patriots. Ed Reynolds had it in his hands and dropped it. Mervin Fernandez drew double coverage, and the underneath man Reynolds should have made the interception.
Oh, you've got to make these kind of plays. Reynolds has been playing well all season. We're just going to see a little in route by Fernandez, but Reynolds is underneath a poorly thrown pass by Beuerlein, and he got away with it. Oh, you've got to make those kind of plays.
So the Raiders got away with one there. Fernandez, the leading pass receiver for the Raiders. Bo is out of the game now, and Vance Mueller is in his place as Beuerlein lines up in the shotgun on 3rd and 8.
Two backers rush Houston.
Plenty of time. Beuerlein to Mueller. Raider first down to the 35-yard line. Mueller for 19 yards after he replaced Bo in the backfield, and Rembert and Hurst had to chase down Mueller as he picked up enough for a Raider first down into Patriot territory.
Beuerlein throws a perfect pass out in front of Mueller, gets excellent protection back there. It's been a problem for the Patriots so far, getting some kind of a rush on the passer, but Mueller was wide open. Just good pass, good protection, poor coverage by the Patriots.
So the Raiders with a first down just short of the Patriot 35-yard line. No score in the game. We're in the first quarter. Bo shook one tackler and gained about 3. Roland James up from the strong safety with help from Ed Reynolds on the tackle. Here's that New England defensive unit now. Up front, Williams, AFC Defensive Player of the Week after 8 tackles, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery against the Bills. Reynolds, the top tackler on the team. In the secondary, the rookie Hurst returned an interception for a touchdown to beat Buffalo. In the New England dime, the pass rushers up front, McSwain and Fagans come in for 6 defensive backs. 2nd and 7 for Los Angeles. Bo is the only running back. Play action pass. Beuerlein. Incomplete. That time pretty good coverage by Ed Reynolds, and now a flag goes down as he was covering Bo out of the backfield. That was a very late flag. Will be an interference call, though, against New England. That's the signal from Johnny Greer, the referee.
Well, I like what...
Pass interference. 95 defense. First down.
I don't know about the call on Reynolds, but I like what the Raiders did with Bo Jackson. They split him out wide that time and brought him in motion. Now he's going to break up the field in the cross, and actually Reynolds had to pick him up on the run. I don't know whether he'd have gotten that ball or not, but it's a penalty and it's a first down for the Raiders.
And Reynolds did make contact before the ball got there, so it is an interference call, and the Raiders with a first down at the 27 of New England. Here's Bo with a big hole to the 20 and inside it. Fred Marion, the free safety, hanging on to Bo Jackson, who banged ahead for 9 yards.
Bo, all he needs is a little crack up there by that offensive line. You see Sim 77 was going to the outside, and Bo cut it back with that quickness and strength, gained good yardage. This man is so dangerous. Pass receiver, rusher. Forget about blocking, though. You're not going to see him block anybody.
What do you expect? Second down. About 2 yards to go. Bowe, first down and more. Bangs his way inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. 11-yard gain for Bowe that time. Rembert and Marion hanging on for dear life as Jackson gives the Raiders a first and goal. Check our 10-minute ticker now. Some final scores coming in from the early starting games. Buffalo all over the Bengals today in that AFC Championship game rematch. A surprise in Miami as the Steelers deal a blow to the Dolphins' playoff hopes. And look what Kansas City did to Houston. Indianapolis with a lead. The Jets with a big win. And Green Bay and Minnesota have been seesawing back and forth. No scores in the late starting games, including this one here. But the Raiders are threatening with a first and goal at the Patriot 9. Bowe hit behind the line and tackled for a loss all the way back to the 14-yard line. Brent Williams got good penetration for the Patriot defense, met Bowe at the pass, and they'll spot the ball now back at about the 13-yard line, so a 4-yard loss on the play.
This is a tough area for the offense. They don't have a lot of working room. They have to get a touchdown, and Brent Williams, 96, got excellent penetration that time, and he got some help from Johnny Rembert, I might add. But the Patriots were playing run all the way that time, just trying to shoot those gaps and break up that run blocking.
Second and goal for the Raiders. Their first possession of the game. 4:04 left, first quarter. Incomplete, intended for Mike Dial, the tight end, as Beuerlein lofted it up to let Dial run under it. The big tight end couldn't get there.
Well, Dial did the right thing. He had an out and up pattern on, and he shook his linebacker that time. Just the timing has to be so fine. I think Beuerlein threw this ball a hair early. He didn't want to get rid of it, but he felt like there was some pressure coming there. You see Dial wide open. I believe he got away from number 59 there.
Vincent Brown.
Vincent Brown, yes. Good pattern by Dial, but just an overthrow.
Art Shell has seen his team lose 2 straight. Now the Patriots come with their dime. McSwain and Fagans are in. Vance Mueller has replaced Jackson. Beuerlein for the end zone. Touchdown! Mike Alexander with a catch in traffic. Maurice Hurst was all over him, but Alexander able to hold on for the 12-yard touchdown.
Big touchdown for the Raiders. I'll tell you what, though, that's his first touchdown of the season. 2 passes Beuerlein threw that New England should have had. Instead, we have a 6-0 lead by the Raiders. Both of those Beuerlein passes should have been intercepted.
Jager on to try the extra point. On its way and good. So the Los Angeles Raiders on their first possession of the game march down the field for the touchdown. 76 yards to take the lead. No smog today. Beautiful afternoon in Southern California. The LA skyline, the mountains behind, and the fans celebrating after a 76-yard drive. Here's the TD.
Well, you know, I said this should have been picked off, but Beuerlein puts that ball about the only place that Hurst, number 37, couldn't get his hands on it. I mean, it was just an excellent pass that time. Beuerlein gets good protection. He's going to end up standing on his feet. Anytime you see a quarterback do that, folks, he's going to get a ball in there.
Just the 9th reception of the year for Alexander and his first touchdown. Here's Jager with the kickoff for the Raiders. This will be Tucker. Reverses his field and then cuts up. Another pretty good return by Tucker. And as Steve Beuerlein celebrates the touchdown pass, we'll take a break. Raiders on top, 7-0. Impressive drive by the Los Angeles Raiders. Alexander with the touchdown pass from 12 yards as the Raiders covered 76 yards in 10 plays. Beuerlein hitting 3 of 5 passes for 50 yards in that drive for the Raiders. Well, the Patriots picked up a couple of first downs on their first possession after they had to punt. They'll put it in play now from their own 26-yard line. Jones on the end around. Not there, 2 or 3 yards. Cedric Jones went in motion and then got the handoff, and Howie Long was ready for it. I tell you, Joe, it's hard to figure these days.
It really is. Get Miami has a chance at the playoffs, and Pittsburgh does them in, and then you have Houston coming off a big win, and Kansas City a tough tie game, and Kansas City puts a number on Houston.
Denver with an early lead. One thing that's been constant this season, the good play of the Broncos. Running away in the AFC West. Grogan's pass, a complete across the middle. John Stevens out of the backfield catches it close to the first down. He may be just a tad short. Tom Benson picked him up, but not till he had made the reception. It'll be close to the first down.
On the left side of your screen, number 44, John Stevens is just going to break underneath the linebackers right here in the middle. You see Jerry Robinson, 57, in pursuit, and Benson come in to make the tackle. But the Patriots will take that 7-8 yards every time. If those linebackers are dropping deep when they see pass, heck, those fullbacks and halfbacks are open underneath.
And they will measure for the first down, as you see, just a few inches short. It'll be a third down play, 3rd and inches for Raymond Berry's New England Patriots. Doug Flutie over on the sideline with Raymond Berry. Joe, you might explain about the signaling and the plays from New England.
Well, Flutie's the man that's supposed to signal the plays in, but actually they get input from Bobby Greer, the running back coach, as well as Raymond Berry's input. All these guys say what they want, and then Flutie gives the play to Grogan.
This one should be easy on 3rd and less than a yard. Give it to John Stevens, and that's what the Raiders were expecting too. It was Perryman that actually got the handoff, and Mike Wise clogged him up in the middle, and they are short. They will not pick it up on 3rd and inches.
Big defensive play for these Raiders. Coach Berry has to be upset. They need inches, and they fire that offensive line out, but Babb doesn't get going anywhere. He's driven back right there by Bob Golick and Howie Long. Oh, Babb had his hands full with those two big fellas pushing him back, and he couldn't get anywhere.
So Perryman came up short, and Fiegels is on to punt again with Adams deep. You saw Fiegels' first punt, not that great, 36 yards. This one is short and not too tall. Adams takes it on the fly. He's got some room, and he stopped across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Only a 33-yard punt that time, and the Raiders with good field position. Some of the headlines from today's NFL Live. Browns coach Bud Carson told Bob Costas he should have punted on that crucial 4th and 13 play against the Lions. Bobby Beathard thinks that Buddy Ryan really covets the job of head coach of the Jets. And Broncos rookie sensation Bobby Humphrey arrested Friday night for driving under the influence, but is playing today for the Broncos. And of course, coming up at halftime, the gang from NFL Live will have all the scores and highlights. And Gail Gardner visits with the Chiefs fullback Christian Okoye, who today surpassed 1,000 yards rushing on the season in the Chiefs' win over the Oilers. Art Shell looks on as his Raiders have the football for the 2nd time in the game. Good field position. Beuerlein with a first down pass, complete, and then is it hung on to? Yes, Bo Jackson did hang on despite a vicious hit from Fred Marion. 16 yards and a Raider first down. Well, Bo Jackson really getting into the passing game today. His 2nd catch.
Beuerlein couldn't get it to either wide man. Came down the middle. Watch this collision. My goodness. Oh! I mean, that's a hit. I can't believe Bo held on to that ball. Fred Marion, 31, actually jarred it loose, but Bo regained control in his midsection for the gainer.
Yeah, he dropped it and then caught it. Bo goes to the sideline now, and Vance Mueller is in his place. First down for the Raiders from the 41 of New England. LA leads 7-0, 55 seconds left in the opening quarter. Steve Smith with his first carry of the day inside the 40-yard line. Now let's go to Bob Costas for an update.
Okay, Tom, final minute 38 at County Stadium in Milwaukee. The Vikings' Wade Wilson airs it out, and the former Seahawk Dave Brown intercepts it. His 2nd fourth-quarter interception. This one seals the victory. The first had set up the go-ahead touchdown. The Packers beat the Vikings and forge a tie atop the NFC Central. Tom?
All right, Bob, the Packers are for real. Here at the Coliseum, Raiders leading 7-0 in the closing seconds of the first quarter. Vance Mueller in motion, and Beuerlein will go to the air. In trouble, he scrambles and makes a good gain out of it. He's to the 35, slides to the 34-yard line, where he's covered by the Patriots pass rushing specialist, Gary Jeter. And that play will bring us to the end of the first quarter from the Coliseum, with the Raiders leading the Patriots 7-0. And Joe Namath from the Coliseum. Steve Beuerlein back in the huddle.
Look at those hands. You know, he stops moving that nervous twitch just before he gets the snap, and you have to wonder if a nose tackle might be able to see that. Every single play we've been watching, he moves that hand nervously, and just before the ball comes back, he freezes it.
This time he's in the shotgun on 3rd and 4 and hands it to Beau, and Beau is immediately hit by Gary Jeter. Well, Jeter came with a rush to get penetration into the backfield, and Beau never had a chance on that one.
Well, that's why the Patriots got Jeter through Plan B free agency. Jeter just beats his man, jumps to the inside, and gets Beau in the backfield. Now, Jeter himself is playing with a torn cartilage. He's given a lot of effort out there, and he's made 6 sacks this season, 5 in the last 5 games, so he's come on nicely for the Patriots.
Jeter in his 13th year out of Southern California. Tucker is deep for the Patriots as Gossett punts for the first time. High punt by Gossett. And it'll be downed inside the 15-yard line, only 26 yards, but it backs the Patriots up. 14-17 left in the half. The Patriots will have the ball down by 7. Those guys of Southern California with the Raiders leading 7-0. They're the first quarter stats, Joe.
Yeah, 6 yards rushing on 7 attempts. I'd say the Raiders are accomplishing what they set out to do, and that's to shut down the Patriot running game.
From the 13-yard line, Grogan retreats and almost threw an interception. There's a penalty marker down. I guess that was intended for Robert Perryman, but it was way off the mark, and the Raiders had a chance to pick it off. But it will be an offside call against Los Angeles. And so a 5-yard step off against the Raiders.
Right now, the Raiders are doing a good job.
Offside, 75 defense, still first down.
That's Howie Long. The penalty is called on. The Raiders are doing a good job. Long is on the left side of your screen. There you see him hopping. He gets in the neutral zone before the ball snapped, and then while it snapped, he couldn't get back. But the Raiders have taken New England already this early in the game away from their plan. The New England wants to run the ball, and here they are trying to throw the ball early.
The Raiders, the most penalized team in the league, and the Patriots, the least penalized, coming into today's game. Perryman in motion. Another flag down, and the Raiders may have been offside again. John Stevens didn't get much on the run, but the penalty may do the job for New England. It could be another offside against Los Angeles. This time, Greg Townsend, the other defensive end.
You know, I asked Ray Berry and Al Davis both about
Offside, defense, first down.
About these penalty situations, being the best in the league, and Al Davis being the worst in the league, his team. Al Davis told me it's just a tremendous lack of discipline. His Raiders do not have the kind of discipline yet that they need offensively or defensively to be a championship caliber. The penalties are coming by stupid mistakes. On the other hand, Ray Berry says his team has been doing a tremendous job in the mental aspect of the game.
Grogan on first down has his pass tipped and almost intercepted. Jerry Robinson had a chance at that floating duck intended for Lynn Dawson. I think someone tipped it, and Robinson nearly had the interception.
I tell you, it looked to me like Lynn Dawson made a good play of not allowing Robinson to catch that ball. There's Dawson in the middle of your screen with Robinson. Now Robinson gets position, and Dawson, I believe, gets his hands in there just enough to yank the ball away from Jerry Robinson. And
it was Howie Long that tipped it at the line to throw the pass off course. 2nd and 10 for the Patriots. Nice bit of running by Robert Perryman to gain 3 or 4 yards. Jerry Robinson in on the tackle for the Raiders, the 11-year veteran out of UCLA. Late starting games, an update.
Boy, I bet Dick is going crazy in with Chicago losing to Washington again.
Raiders 7-0 here at the Coliseum, 13-20 and counting in the second quarter. There's Flutie signaling in from the sideline. Steve Grogan used to call the plays when he wasn't the starting quarterback. Now that he's on the field, he takes them from the sideline, although he says he does change them occasionally. Sometimes he doesn't even check to the sideline. Grogan's pass that time on target for a first down to Cedric Jones. So Jones, the Patriots' #1 receiver on the season, catches his 38th pass of the year. It's good for 11 yards and a New England first down.
Well, on the right side of your screen, Cedric Jones is going to be isolated at number 48, Lionel Washington, and Jones loses him with a nice inside fake, and then he breaks to the outside and is wide open. Grogan puts the ball exactly where he'd like to. Well, that's Big Davis in there on him. Now, that's what you don't want your quarterback taking. Those hits after he throws the ball as well. Davis had beaten the tackle, Danny Villa.
This is a first down play. And this is Flutie. Doug Flutie into the game. Will try to throw it. It's batted down, incomplete. Tom Benson batted down Doug Flutie's pass. Howie Long was getting penetration, chasing Flutie all over the lot as the Patriots tried a little razzle-dazzle with 2 quarterbacks on the field, and the Raiders not fooled.
Well, Flutie's going to reverse and try to throw a pass here, but Townsend applies the first pressure, and then Howie Long is after him. The ball's going to get knocked down here by Benson, number 54, and he nearly held on to that rascal. A little trickery that didn't work that time for the Patriots and Doug Flutie.
Well, Howie Long is making his presence known in a hurry. It was interesting to see Steve Grogan try to throw a block there.
Hey, Steve will try it all, buddy. He's a game player.
This time Steve's pass is caught at the 50. It'll be a first down. Great catch for 16 yards by the rookie Hartley Dykes, who was immediately taken down by Eddie Anderson.
Oh, and the hit he took in his back. I'm surprised he's able to get up so good. You see that quickness avoiding that bump coming off the line. Now, he's 6'4", such a big target, but watch his hit right in the middle of his back area. And, well, that shook him up a little bit, I know, but he's back in the huddle. Well, back on the sideline, still trying to get a little air.
That was his first start last week, and his numbers on the day, 3 catches already. He's caught a touchdown pass now in 3 consecutive games. First-round draft choice out of Oklahoma State. 16th player taken in this year's draft. Irving Fryer is in and in motion as Perryman carries, and he gets about 5 yards to the Raider 45.
Well, now that's the first running play, Tom, on first down that the Patriots had pretty decent success. I think they're still kind of feeling their way against this Raider defense, but they know they're going to have to blow them off the ball. Dick Wood there in the white shirt on the right side of the screen is the quarterback coach, and he and Coach Berry confer certainly for the passing plays, not so much the running plays.
Center of that defense, Golick and Robinson combining to stop Perryman that time, but he got 4 yards at 2nd and 6. Golick, it appeared, jumped offside. Bob Golick facing his old friend Mike Babb. They were teammates in Cleveland and good buddies. He said he's never faced a man as good a friend as Babb is. There's the offside call. They were in a video together, masters of the gridiron.
79 defense. Still first down. Second down.
I asked him yesterday, Bob Golick, I said, what's the first thing you'll say to Mike Babb when you see him? He said, stop holding.
Well, Babb may know something about Golick because he gets Golick to jump here. I don't know whether Babb makes a little sound, makes a little noise. Centers have been known to do that. Just a little squeeze of the ball with their fingers sometimes gets that nose tackle to jump.
That's the 3rd offside call against the Raiders on this drive as Grogan maybe is altering his cadence. John Stevens looks for a block, turns the corner, hit and drops for no gain. Terry McDaniel came up to cut off the outside for John Stevens, who had a great week last week against the Buffalo Bills.
This is excellent defense. At the top of the screen, I mean, McDaniel forces the runner to turn back in. He's out there, and right there is all the help. All those black jerseys. Number 79, Bob Golick, going from his nose tackle position to get to the sideline and help make the play. That's a lot of hustle.
Here's a look at Golick. He said he was going to try to spray paint his jersey on today if he could to keep his friend Babb from holding. 3rd and 2. Pass is complete to Stevens for a first down. John Stevens made the catch for 16 yards as Mosey Tatupu came in on the flea flicker and threw the pass for the first down. That's a play New England has used this season, but not recently.
You know, these running backs are so strong. They have muscles up around their shoulders and chest. They don't have the best passing technique you'd like to have, but Tatupu had such an open Stevens that time. He just kind of shuffled the ball forward. He doesn't really throw it. He just kind of pushes it forward.
Not really the flea flicker, but the halfback pass from Tatupu, and it works for a New England first down. They're at the 26-yard line of the Raiders, trailing 7-0. Flags down. Not much gain there for Stevens. And somebody had jumped again.
Looked like Perryman may have made a move out of the backfield here earlier. Tatupu won. Who's ever in there right now? Well, that doesn't show good concentration, especially on the offense's behalf. They're supposed to know.
Motion, number 30 offense. Offside, no tackle defense. They'll offset. Still first down.
I'll tell you, Tatupu should know the snap count. But that nose tackle is not supposed to jump offside. I mean, the football is right in front of him. They're taught, their coach, don't move until the ball starts to move. I don't know how a nose tackle. Here's Howie Long. In front, well, he's a little bit off to the ball, but he's not looking at that ball out of the corner of the eye. If he had that ball in his eyesight, he wouldn't be jumping offside.
There's Bob Golick, who resumes his battle again against his friend Mike Babb. Tatupu in motion, first down play. Grogan's pass batted down, incomplete. Greg Townsend got up to knock that one away from Grogan. It was headed in the direction of Mosey Tatupu.
That frustrates a quarterback. I mean, Grogan had his man open out there, wide open. All he has to do is get the ball to him, and then big Greg Townsend gets his hands up. On the left side of the screen, you see 93 right there. Look at him. He's about 9 feet in the air. You can't even see the receiver. He's so far wide open, and Grogan just has to say, what are you going to do? It's a good play by Townsend.
Did you ever get frustrated and want to wind up and just throw it in the face mask?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not so much frustrated, but angry at him for a little extracurricular activity.
Grogan for the end zone. Incomplete, penalty markers down. Hartley Dykes was buffeted around by Terry McDaniel, and it could be interference. Eddie Anderson back there lobbying a little bit, but Johnny Greer says interference against the silver and black. Art Shell celebrating his 43rd birthday today.
Pass interference, 36 defense. First down.
And that will be a 23-yard penalty. I guess in this instance, celebrate is not the right word for Art Shell, as his boss, Al Davis, looks on from upstairs.
Well, let's see if there's any bumping right now. You can see McDaniel kind of leaning into Dykes and looking back at the ball. Now he's looking back at the ball. I don't see what is usually inferred as interference because McDaniel was looking for the ball, but certainly a great call for the Patriots.
First and goal for New England as the Raiders quickly call a timeout. I don't think they had their full complement of 11 players on the field as the 11th now trots out.
Yeah, Coach Shell shaking his head there. He ought to. That's really poor coaching, or his players are falling asleep. They had all that time to decide what their defense would be between that interference call and by the time they were ready to run the play, and the Raiders still didn't have the correct defensive unit on the field. Now, one of the players either fell asleep or the staff fell asleep somewhere. They should have had their defense on there.
Well, the penalties have played a big part in this New England drive, giving them a first and goal. There have been 4 penalties, the last a 20-plus interference call against Los Angeles. Raymond Berry conferring on the sideline with his coaching staff. 8:49 left in the first half of play, and the Patriots bidding to tie the game at 7. Hope you'll join us again next week. That'll be week 13 of the NFL schedule. And here's the lineup on NBC. Cincinnati at Cleveland, Indianapolis against New England, Miami against Kansas City. 4 o'clock game will have Denver visiting these LA Raiders. Check your local listing for the games and times in your area. First and goal from the 3. Stevens to the 1. Well, Joe, it appears that the Raiders are ready for John Stevens. When we talked to several of their coaches and players yesterday, they all praised his abilities. In fact, Howie Long said he thought John Stevens was one of the top 4 runners in the NFL, but they've been ready for him today. He hasn't been able to get loose. That time, Pickell and Benson and Zepp Lee all on top of John Stevens.
Well, Stevens doesn't really hit this hole quickly, but there's good defensive pressure at the line. And 54, Benson makes the play nicely. The Raiders are whipping the Pats at the line of scrimmage.
Grogan still has it, tosses it wide open for the touchdown. It is Cedric Jones catching his 5th touchdown pass of the season. It goes for only a yard, and Grogan's TD pass puts Raymond Berry and the Patriots in with a chance to tie with the extra point.
They haven't had much success with their running game, but it sure set up this touchdown pass to Cedric Jones, because this fake by Grogan was really taken by these Raiders. They're looking for Stevens, you see, and by the time they try to react out there, Cedric's all alone. Look at this, wide open.
Grogan with his 6th touchdown pass of the season against 9 interceptions. And Jason Starowski is on for the extra point. It's up and through, and the game is tied. 8:05 left in the first half, and the Patriots and the Raiders tied 7-7 at the Coliseum.
See sports coverage of the National Football.
Well, the weather isn't the only reason to visit Southern California.
No, there's Disneyland and other places.
Starowski with a kickoff for New England. Adams and Mueller are deep for the Raiders. And that's taken by Stephon Adams. And Adams with a good lane gets it across the 30 to the 33-yard line, where he is finally stopped by David Ward of the Patriots.
Let's look at his fake again. You see on the right side of the screen, the defensive players are chasing that fake, and that allowed Cedric Jones to get outside. There's Zepp Lee, number 40, and Lyndon King bit on that fake. They wouldn't have made that tackle anyway. The backside of that defense should have stayed at home.
There's the scoring drive, 87 yards, helped out by 38 yards in penalties against the Raiders on that drive. First down play to Bowe. On the sweep, turns the corner and gets 4 or 5 yards before he's run out of bounds. Roland James came up from the strong safety to make sure Bowe was out of bounds. Well, Denver doing its usual thing at Mile High Stadium, pitching a shutout against the Seahawks. And Washington a little fired up. They seem to have gotten it together against the Bears today. 7-7 here with 7:51 left in the opening half of play. Steve Grogan on the sideline after directing the Patriots to a tying touchdown. And Steve Beuerlein on the field for the Raiders. They could see the Broncos, their opponent next week, clinch the AFC West today. Beuerlein, plenty of time, delivers it to Smith, who drops it. Smith had it in his hands, couldn't hold on. It goes incomplete as Vincent Brown was recovering to get over there to catch up with Steve Smith.
Oh, it's a game of inches. Beuerlein has good protection back there, but excellent coverage downfield by the Patriots. Forced Beuerlein to come to a secondary receiver, and then what do? You drop the ball. Professional fullback. I mean, he's supposed to catch the ball that hits him in the hand. Now it's 3rd down and long as opposed to 3rd and short, or possibly even a 1st down had Smith held onto the ball.
Mike Alexander joins Fernandez and Galt, 3 wide receivers for the Raiders. Beuerlein from the shotgun. And his pass is almost picked off. Miscommunication that time between Beuerlein and his intended receiver, who was Marvin Fernandez. Or perhaps it was Alexander. And it just almost was an interception.
Well, on the right side of your screen, receiver Fernandez, 89, gets open. The ball goes off his fingers, and it's almost an interception. Beuerlein would have liked to throw that ball a little lower. I think Fernandez could have handled it.
Gossett to punt for the Raiders. Errol Tucker, the neat man for the Patriots. Tucker at the 28. Nowhere to go. And he's taken down. 36-yard punt by Gossett with no return. The Patriots will have the ball in a 7-7 game. This game following today's football for those of you on the West Coast only. Grogan sets up a screen to Stevens. The Raiders smell it out, and Stevens is lucky to gain a yard or 2. Jerry Robinson and Bob Golick able to get penetration on the blockers on that screen, and Stevens didn't have much of a chance.
Well, let's see if we can read any signals here. There's Doug Flutie giving the signals now that he worked out with the quarterbacks. Actually, Tom Ramsey, the quarterback that was with Grogan and Flutie earlier in the season, worked out a system amongst the quarterbacks, and they're the fellas that send the plays in. Now, Grogan says he doesn't mind the coaches sending plays in, but if he does have a reason for checking off, he certainly will.
I think Flutie called his own number a while ago on that two-quarterback play. Grogan's pass complete to Cedric Jones, and Jones has a Patriot first down after a 17-yard gain to the 45-yard line of New England. Mike Harden covering Cedric Jones, but Jones made a good catch on a good delivery from Grogan.
Excellent pass protection up front by Farrell and Fairchild, and boy, I'll tell you what, Grogan's been around 15 years, and he hasn't thrown many passes better than this last one. Golick 79's trying to get penetration, but he's double teamed there by Farrell and the center back.
Lionel Washington, one of the quarterbacks, fell down on the play for the Raiders, and Grogan said his arm's not as strong as it once was, but the knowledge is there, and he said the knowledge is more important. Robert Perryman gains 4 to the 49-yard line, and the Patriots continue to move the ball and mixing up the run and pass.
You know, Tom, he says the arm isn't as strong as it used to be. The knowledge is more important, but his arm is still strong enough to be competing on this professional level. If his arm were weaker, I mean, if he couldn't really get any heat on the ball, he wouldn't be out there. So Steve Grogan at 6'4" still has a strong arm, even though he's been around 15 years.
And he says he was not prepared mentally to be a starting quarterback this year, but his experience enables him to make that transition. He says, I've been down so much, I can adjust. A rookie might not be able to. This is Patrick Egu. Egu with a rare carry, his third of the season. He touched the ball for the first time last week and scored against Buffalo the first time he had the ball. Bob Golick made the tackle on Egu. There's that 15-yard run for a score against Buffalo.
Let's watch number 79, Bob Golick, work from his nose tackle position off the ball. You see, he can't get reached. The blockers don't get to him, but here he gets an arm in there, but it's actually Benson that makes that good head-on butt.
Bob Golick with those locks out the back of his helmet. Look at the front of his helmet. He's already torn the stripe off. Well, he's a football player's nose tackle. 6 defensive backs for the Raiders on third down. Grogan goes deep. Fryer, touchdown! Well, Steve Grogan told us yesterday that the return of Irving Fryer from injury should put some zip into their long passing game, and he was true to his word. 49 yards and a Patriot score. Zepp Lee beaten on the play. Fryer out-sprinted him, and Grogan put it right there. Starofsky for the extra point. And it's good. So the long 49-yard pass to Irving Fryer puts New England on top for the first time in the game. 73-yard drive and only 5 plays. And the big blow, of course, the 49-yarder to Irving Fryer.
Fryer still has the speed to get deep. Grogan gets excellent pass protection. You'll see Fryer behind every defender down here, just outrunning Zepp Lee, number 40. He's able to keep his balance and get in that end zone. Boy, when you have that kind of speed, that defense has to respect you deep, and that time Fryer just flat out ran him. Grogan remains standing after pass. Give Fairchild, Babb, Armstrong, give those guys credit up front for keeping him off the ground.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Steve Grogan. And Raymond Berry, well, he knows what it's like to score those touchdowns, and he likes to see them for his team as well. You know, he praised his team yesterday. He said this team leads the NFL in the ability to adjust to adversity and to compensate for it. He was very high on his players, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. They've had a rash of injuries. They had them early in the season. I know every team has some injuries, but these guys have been fighting back hard, and Berry really likes the attitude his team has, even though that win-loss record isn't the way he wants to see it.
Adams picks up Starofsky's kickoff on the bounce and then gets some room down the sideline. Stephon Adams with a good return to the Raider 35 before he's hit by Howard Fegans. Well, the New England time of possession advantage is growing. 17.5 to just under 8 for the Raiders. Here's the last scoring drive with the 49-yard pass spelling the difference. And what beautiful diversity the Patriots have shown. 13 passing plays, 13 rushing plays in the game so far.
I expect Beuerlein to find out if Claiborne can run or if Hurst can run. I haven't seen him try to go deep yet with Galt or Fernandez.
You asked for it, here you get it. Dropped by Willie Galt. Galt had plenty of room. Fred Marion was beaten, and Galt dropped the football.
Yeah, well, Galt was one-on-one to start with the cornerback, Maurice Hurst, number 37. Galt's going to push him downfield and break inside, and Hurst kind of turns him over to the inside help of Fred Marion. Galt should have had this ball. It's just perfectly thrown, and boy, that's just it makes you sick as a quarterback, you know. I mean, the rest of the guys on the team catch the ball. We've blocked well, we've done everything, and then you have a drop pass. It feels awful.
So Willie Galt drops one, and now it's 2nd and 10. Beuerlein's hit 4 of 9 so far for 65 yards. Had a couple drops. Steps up and is sacked. Beuerlein taken down at the 31-yard line for a loss of 4 on the play. Getting credit for the sack will be Gary Jeter. That is his 7th sack of the season. He trails only Brent Williams and has had a sack now in 6 consecutive games.
Well, let's check out Jeter, number 99, fighting his way through, getting it. Oh, boy, I tell you, he just had 3 guys on him. He never quit. He was out of the play. Beuerlein really had a lot of time to throw that ball, but the coverage downfield by that Patriot secondary was excellent.
3 wide receivers now for the Raiders, Galt, Fernandez, and Alexander. Vance Mueller in for Bo Jackson. Penalty flag down. Beuerlein's pass is dropped again. Fernandez couldn't hold on to that one. Johnny Rembert and Fred Marion were double covering Mervin Fernandez. He dropped the football. Boy, Beuerlein is snake bit today. That's 3 drops. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Penalty against Los Angeles.
Yeah, the quarterback's just got to shake that off. You know, he's got to really believe his receivers.
Illegal motion. Offense. 2-minute motion. It's declined. 4th down.
He's got to believe his receivers are going to catch more than they drop. And in pro ball especially, even though a guy drops it, you can't shy away from him. The quarterback has to go to the man he thinks is going to be open as dictated by the defense. And it's up to those receivers to hold on to the ball.
Gossett's punt, a sailing punt, which backs Tucker up to his own 19-yard line. Good punt by Gossett. Tucker can't get away from the special teams coverage. A 50-yard punt and only a 2-yard return to the Patriots 20. Mike Dial, the tight end on special team coverage, made the tackle on Errol Tucker. Denver continuing to air it out. The Bears on the board, and Tampa Bay draws first blood at Phoenix. And here at the Coliseum, the New England Patriots, still with flickering hopes for the playoffs, have a 14-7 lead on the Los Angeles Raiders. Joe, everything broke right for the Raiders as far as their wild card hopes in other games, but right now they're on the short end of the score. And speaking of scores, hope you'll stay with us at halftime. The NFL Live gang will be on hand to bring you up to date. Gail Gardner with that feature on Christian Okoye, the top rusher in the league. John Stevens bounces outside, then cuts up and is taken down hard. A vicious hit that time from a couple of Raiders as we come down to the 2-minute warning. Tom Benson, the man that was at the bottom of the stack on John Stevens.
There's Benson, number 54, but Davis, number 70, shot across that line of scrimmage to help delay Stevens to enable Benson to get over there. These Raiders have been impressive, I think, at the line of scrimmage, but they've given up the big play downfield. The running game, really, for the Patriots hasn't been in sync.
2 touchdown passes, though, by Steve Grogan have New England on top, 14-7. Pass is complete. Nice move by Perryman to get away from one man and turns it into about a 7-yard gain. Lyndon King finally gets him down.
Well, Perryman just gets out there in the flat. Grogan would like to get this ball downfield to his wide receiver, but doesn't have him, so he chooses Perryman. And Perryman ducks under Mike Harden right here. Harden's not going to miss many of those tackles and gets another 2 or 3 valuable yards.
Perryman in his 3rd year out of Michigan, a 3rd-round draft choice. You know, back in high school in Massachusetts, one game he had 308 yards rushing and 18 tackles as he played football.
You're kidding.
Grogan from the shotgun sends it incomplete. Fryer was the intended receiver, maybe Hartley Dykes. It's hard to tell because the pass sort of split them. Grogan shaking his head.
Sort of split them and sort of sailed about 15 yards over everyone's head. Grogan misfired. And I tell you what, when you see a pass off target that far, I believe the ball slips out of your hand. It did me most of the time when I'd miss a receiver by that much of a margin. When you see Grogan miss his receiver by that much of a margin, you've got to believe that the release of the ball from his hand was slick. It had to slip a little bit.
Beagles will punt for New England. And Adams is deep for the Raiders. Beagles has not had a good day so far. Very little wind to speak of. Pressure on the Beagles and a penalty marker down. Adams fields it at the 28-yard line and gets a pretty good return to the 39. Again, there is a penalty marker, a couple of them on the play. Beagles with his best punt of the day, 45 yards, 11-yard return by Adams before he's stopped by Patrick Egu.
Tell you what, if we get a running into the kicker call here, that little move that Perryman made on that 2nd down reception is going to be big because the Patriots
Running into the kicker, number 97 defense. Illegal motion, 51 offense. They're offset. Still 4th down.
Well, those offsetting penalties will cancel things out.
There's also no number 51 on the Patriots, so if you can figure that out. Art Shell, Hall of Fame player. Here's Fiegels again.
I'll tell you what, this kick would have probably been blocked if that snap by Mike Morris hadn't been so accurate. Ray Berry was telling us yesterday, in his opinion, the most underrated play in football is the snap from the center back to the punter or kicker. It's got to be accurate. And with Guy Morris playing for the Patriots now, just in that short period of a couple of weeks, Flegel's average has gone up 5 yards.
He's going to punt it again. Bruce Schultz, by the way, is number 51 for the Patriots, who was guilty. This is a good kick again from Fiegels. Stephon Adams looks for room and takes it to the 34-yard line. A 50-yard kick that time by Fiegels and a 12-yard return as we come to the 2-minute warning here in the first half at the Coliseum with the Patriots leading the Raiders 14-7.
Bike that I rode in that picture. I had 4 accidents on that bike. I said, no, thank you. I don't want the bikes. I don't even want to give them any friends. They're too dangerous.
Is acting more dangerous than football playing?
It was in that picture, I tell you that, boy. Those bikes had me going every which way.
Well, there's a star, Jim Garner, on hand to see the Raiders play this afternoon. And the Raiders have the football with a first down. 1:50 left in the half. And they give it on the ground to Bo Jackson, and Bo knocks it ahead for a first down. Bo Jackson for 11 yards on that carry, and the Raiders, as quickly as that, have it approaching midfield.
Well, you see Bo, he gets up, he's limping, he's bumped up a little bit, going to the bench right now. He's taken somewhat of a beating now. He's played a few weeks and getting more hits. Oh!
Alexander on the catch from Beuerlein to the 25 of the Patriots. 28 yards and a Raider first down as Los Angeles calls a timeout to stop the clock at 1:17.
Well, no difference. Brent Williams made a good effort, knocked the ball down. Take another look at this play. It appears that Beuerlein has pretty decent protection, but once he gets ready to throw that ball, that big mid will get up there and knock that thing down. You see that? Brent Williams right there in his face, knocking the pass down.
3rd down and a yard to go for the Raiders from the 16. Mueller does have the Raider first down. So Mueller was just a yard short the last time he carried, gets the first down this time. Lawrence McGrew on the tackle. The clock rolling to 35 seconds. Beuerlein on an out pattern, incomplete, intended for Fernandez. Beuerlein not happy with that throw. Stops the clock with 31 seconds left.
Well, I'm not sure Fernandez was going all out for this ball. It appeared to be a good pass. Beuerlein's reaction on, he's surprised it wasn't completed. He thought he delivered that thing right on target. A lot of folks would have expected maybe a quick sideline pass to stop the clock, but Beuerlein sees him open, and Fernandez actually slowed down coming out of that break. And I think that little bit of slowing down didn't allow Fernandez to get to the ball.
2nd and 10 from the Patriot 13, 31 seconds left. Plenty of time. Beuerlein across the middle. Fernandez, touchdown. Fernandez, with his first catch of the day, is his 8th touchdown reception of the season. And Jaeger to try to tie the score. And he does. So the Raiders get their quick strike offense on the field. Fernandez on the touchdown catch. And with 24 seconds left in the half, the Raiders have tied the score.
Take a look at Fernandez here. What makes this play work first is the time that Beuerlein has downfield, because the coverage is pretty good initially, but Beuerlein gets a lot of time, and that's when Fernandez can run across the field underneath the linebackers and just cuts back underneath Reynolds and gets him to the end zone. A little surprised that the Patriots weren't playing a tighter man coverage that time on Fernandez.
Well, it just took a minute and a half for the Raiders to cover 65 yards, 7 plays. Beuerlein with a touchdown pass.
Take one more look, folks. It'll be coming from your right to left. Fernandez crossing the screen in front of the linebacker, and shorter than the other linebackers. He crossed under Rembert, and there just wasn't anyone in that zone area. And again, I'm surprised that at this end of the field they're playing a zone-type coverage. You'd expect a cornerback to be dogging Fernandez all over the field.
There, Mervin is showing how he did it. 8 touchdown catches for him now. And that's, of course, one of the tops. Tied for the lead in the AFC and receiving touchdowns coming into the game. Tucker downs it in the end zone, and the Patriots will start at their own 20 with 24 seconds left.
What do you think we'll see now, Tom? 24 seconds left. They're going to run the clock out or try and go deep?
Fernandez taking the lead in the AFC and receiving touchdowns. Well, I don't know. Raymond Berry is a fairly conservative play caller at a 14-14 game on the road, and I don't know, with 80 yards away, you might just down it. What do you think?
You know, well, with Irving Fryer and the rookie Dykes, I'd have to put the ball up long. There's only 24 seconds left, and even if it's intercepted on the other end of the field, I don't think the Raiders can get back into it, but I'm afraid we're going to see him run the clock out.
Yep. Somehow I thought, as a former quarterback, you were going to say, go deep, go deep.
Yes, why not? What have you got to lose?
Well, Raymond Berry elects the safe course, and it will kill the clock as it ticks away, and players and coaches begin to leave the field. Art Shell, it looks like he's disappointed they downed it.
Oh, I don't think he's disappointed. I tell you, not much good can happen for the defense in that kind of a situation.
Well, it's been a seesaw game. Raymond Berry's Patriots took a 14-7 lead, but the Raiders come back and strike quickly just before halftime, and the two teams will go to the locker room tied at 14 apiece here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Stay tuned now for NFL Live halftime activities.
We welcome those of you watching the Patriots and the Raiders, tied at 14 at halftime. Bob Costas with O.J. Simpson. Juice, your impressions of the first 30 minutes?
Well, I must admit, I thought the Raiders were somewhat sleepwalking there for a while. I didn't think they were aware that with a win today, they could get right back into this thing, the way the receivers were dropping passes, though. But they win today, they're 6-6. That only puts them 1 game behind Miami, 1 game behind Houston, fighting for that wild card spot. Miami has to play Kansas City twice. That's not going to be any day at the beach. And, of course, Houston ends the season against Cincinnati and Cleveland. Those are going to be tough games for them. So this is a must-win for the Raiders. They have a chance to get right back in this thing.
All right, Juice, zipping quickly now through the scoreboard. Both Beuerlein and Grogan have 2 first-half touchdown passes, and the game is tied at 14-all at the Coliseum. Elsewhere, Denver looking to clinch in the AFC West, and obviously they will, not quite yet to halftime, leading 31-0. John Elway has thrown 3 touchdown passes in the first half, 2 of them to Vance Johnson, pounding Seattle 31-zip as they come up to halftime. Chicago at Washington. Mark Rippon throws a pair of touchdown passes as the Skins take an early 14-0 lead. Then Thomas Sanders returns a kick 96 yards for a score. Mike Tomczak, starting at quarterback for the Bears, then throws 12 yards to Dennis McKinnon. In the meantime, Neil Anderson has gone over 1,000 yards for the year. The Bears have come back to tie the Skins 14-all. Tampa Bay playing at Phoenix. Hank Coleman, the new Cardinal coach. Earl Farrell just ran a yard for a touchdown for Phoenix. That ties that game up at 7-7. Earlier, Testaverde had thrown a 5-yarder to Bruce Hill for a touchdown for Tampa Bay. Now, these are finals from earlier today. Good news all around for Buffalo. They won, Miami lost. The Bills win at home against Cincinnati 24-7. Here's a key play. 1 of 3 touchdown passes by Jim Kelly. Ronnie Harmon will latch onto it, do some good running after the catch. It covers 42 yards. Thurman Thomas had 100 yards rushing on the day for Buffalo, goes over 1,000 for the year. James Brooks had 105 yards on the ground for Cincinnati. He, too, tops the 1,000-yard rushing mark, but the Bengals have now dropped 5 of 7 after a 4-1 start. The Bills win today 24-7. Meanwhile, Miami jumps in front of Pittsburgh 14-0, then 34 unanswered points by the Steelers in a downpour at Joe Robbie Stadium, and Pittsburgh pulls the upset 34-14. The weather conditions certainly played a part. Sammy Smith, the rookie running back for the Dolphins, fumbles, and the aptly named Carnell Lake recovers, and he laterals it to Dwayne Woodruff, who somehow keeps his feet, and 21 yards later, he's in for the touchdown. Pittsburgh gets 3 scoring runs from Merrill Hodge, and they go on to win 34-14. Miami had 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and a couple of interceptions. Kansas City, in one of the big games of the day, tattoos the Oilers at Arrowhead 34-0. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game, and even in the head-to-head matchup of the mascots. It was the Chiefs who got the better of it today at Arrowhead Stadium. This is in the first quarter. Warren Moon has just been intercepted. The rookie linebacker Derek Thomas out of Alabama shoves him. Moon takes exception, grabs the face mask. Only Moon is penalized, not Thomas. That enrages Jerry Glanville. They tack on another flag for unsportsmanlike conduct on the Houston coach. And Kansas City capitalizes on all their opportunities. As a matter of fact, they blocked 2 Houston punts in the first half. The second was the most costly. Albert Lewis blocks the boot by Greg Montgomery, and it's recovered for the touchdown by J.C. Pearson. Later, it's Christian Okoye. He just barrels over Jeff Donaldson, going 17 yards for the TD. In the process, Okoye goes over 1,000 yards rushing for the year. And Kansas City, a much better team than their 5-6-1 record would indicate. They've got Okoye, and DeBerg had a decent game today at quarterback. And, of course, they've got a strong defense. They win today 34-0. Indianapolis, despite the fact that Eric Dickerson had one of the worst games of his career, 17 carries, 30 yards, plus he lost a fumble, they still managed to win 10-6 at the Hoosier Dome over San Diego. The Jets won at home for the first time all year. Now, Atlanta, the Jets, and Detroit all have records of 3-9, tied for the dubious distinction of getting the first draft choice, because Dallas, which has the worst record in the league, doesn't have a first-round pick. They traded that away. So this game had implications pertaining to the draft next spring. The Jets win at home over the Falcons 27-7. And in one of the best games of the day, at County Stadium in Milwaukee, the Packers over the Vikings, forging a tie atop the NFC Central. The Magic Man, Don Majkowski, completed his first 14 passes, including this 34-yard touchdown to Sterling Sharp. Sharp would have a whale of a day, catching 2 scoring passes. The game seesawed back and forth. This TD run in the third quarter by Herschel Walker gave Minnesota the lead at 16-10. But then after a field goal made it 16-13, the Packers creeping within 3. They take the lead here as Sharp catches the pass and then wheels by 2 defenders and bowls over a third. And then comes the clinching play. The former Seahawk, the veteran defensive back Dave Brown, whose interception had set up the winning touchdown, then seals the victory, picking this one off. The throw by Wade Wilson in the last minute and a half, intercepted by Brown for his second INT of the fourth quarter. And the Packers prevailed 20-19. Even though we showed you the Herschel Walker touchdown, keep in mind that he had only 42 yards rushing today. In each of the last 3 weeks, he has failed to get as many as 50 yards on the ground. If they can't figure out a way to get him more involved in the offense, it's bad news for the Vikings down the stretch in the NFC Central race. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, we've got a feature about Christian Okoye, the great running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. Gail Gardner will join us with that when we continue after these messages from your local station.
In Los Angeles, like we so astutely said at the start of the telecast, Joe, the team that runs the best will probably win this game. There's been no running game for these two teams at all. The big plays have been in the passing game.
Right. The defensive line of the Raiders has been tremendous in shutting down the running game. But I would expect the Patriots to come back to it and still try to get Stevens that ball and try to pound out some things. I'd also expect Beuerlein to go over top and go deep downfield more often.
Well, speaking of going deep, that's what the Patriots did with their deep threat Irving Fryer back on the field today, and Grogan found him for a 49-yard touchdown.
Well, Fryer just ran past 2 safeties, Zeph Lee and Mike Harden, split the seam and just outran everyone, and Grogan said, gee, it's great to have you back, Irving.
But, of course, the Raiders struck just before halftime on a pass of their own, a little shorter, but nevertheless for a score to Fernandez.
Well, I don't understand why 37 Hurst, the cornerback, allowed Fernandez to run across the field free. Obviously, I would infer that the Patriots are playing a zone coverage down there, and to me, gosh, that's dangerous that close to the goal line.
Ready for the second half kick now, and it will be the Patriots kicking it off. Starofsky sends a high but short kick, which is fielded by Adams on the fly, and he's to the 30 and the 34-yard line before he's stopped by the Patriots coverage. So here is a look at the halftime stats, and look at the running total for the Patriots.
Right, 17-49. I think the most important statistic, though, are those 2 goose eggs down the bottom. No turnovers for either team. That's why we have a tie game right now. Of course, the Patriots had a chance early with Reynolds trying to make an interception. The ball was right in his hands, and he missed it. But when these teams start committing the turnovers, we're going to get a clear-cut leader.
Smith and Jackson in the I formation. Jackson is the tailback. First down play. First play from scrimmage of the second half. 14-14 game. Bowe gets maybe a yard. Not much there. As again, the 2 defenses continue to shut down the running game. And we've got 2 of the best here in that man, Bo Jackson, and John Stevens of the Patriots.
The strong safety, Roland James, made a good tackle that time. You see, the Raiders have started each possession in darn good field position, but look at these plays: 4, 3, 3, 7. Well, the 7's a touchdown, but you've got to give credit to that Patriot defense. The Patriots are playing good defensive ball.
Beuerlein's first pass of the second half. Finally chased out of the pocket, intended for Bo Jackson, who was covered pretty well. And as you see that Beuerlein took a hit from Kenneth Sims. Johnny Rembert was the man covering Bo.
Yeah, you know, Rembert, Maurice Hurst, Claiborne, those guys all covered their receivers that time. That's why Beuerlein couldn't get the ball downfield. We're seeing some excellent coverage in the secondary on man-to-man type coverages. Beuerlein has time. Look at it. He cannot find a receiver open. That's good coverage downfield.
Dime package on for the Patriots. McSwain and Feggins in at the defensive backs. Alexander joins Galton Fernandez. 3 wides for the Raiders. It's Alexander in motion. Beuerlein sacked. A one-arm sack by Vincent Brown, the blitzing linebacker. He just sort of took one arm and swiped him to the turf.
What a tremendous power rush on the left side of your screen. Number 68 can't quite block Vincent Brown. You see Bruce Wilkinson, the offensive tackle, could not get a good angle on Brown, and Brown just puts that one arm in there and knocks Beuerlein down.
Wow, that was a tremendous play by Vincent Brown. It means that Gossett will punt on the Raiders' first possession of the second half. Errol Tucker from the 40 gets a block. to midfield and out of bounds at the 49 of the Raiders. 37-yard punt, 11-yard return by Tucker. Mike Dial with his second special team tackle of the day for the Los Angeles Raiders. Here's a recap of all the scores now. These are the early starting games, and as we said earlier, things breaking just right for the wild card hopes of the Raiders. A lot of the teams they're in contention with losing this week. And as we switch to the late starting games, we understand that John Elway had 4 touchdown passes in the first half of that game. I'm sure Bob Costas told you that during the NFL Live halftime. 14-14 here. The Patriots start in Raider territory on their first possession of the half. And John Stevens is tripped up by Howie Long right at the line of scrimmage. Howie Long's having a great game, isn't he, Joe?
He sure is. He's so strong and quick. He just whipped the offensive lineman, got good penetration. Here's in the bottom part of your screen, number 75 going against Armstrong, and he just handles Armstrong there at the line of scrimmage, holds his ground and makes the play.
John Stevens, who had 126 yards against Buffalo last week, the 6th career 100-yard game he has had, is held to -1 on 7 carries today. Flag down as Grogan's pass is intercepted. Intercepted by Tom Benson, who takes it back to the Patriot 34-yard line. There's another flag down. Well, Greg Townsend was putting the pressure on Grogan. Benson went up to get the football and then was finally taken out of bounds after a 17-yard return. 2 separate penalties on the play.
Offense, it's declined. Face mask. Number 34 on New England is accepted. First down, Raiders.
Perryman tackling Benson with the face mask. 2 penalties against the Patriots, and here it is again.
Just appeared to be an awful pass by Grogan. No one hits his arm. Well, he did kind of great. You know what? That pressure there, the defender got his hand around Grogan's waist, I believe caused that underthrow. If we see the end of that, if we could see the end of that play again, there was pressure on Grogan just as he was releasing the ball from Townsend on the top of the screen, number 93, getting around via the offensive tackle. Now what? He'll get his hands on Grogan there. Just as he's throwing the ball, he caused the interception. The defensive lineman linebacker, Greg Townsend. He's going to get hold of Grogan's body and force Grogan to miss his target.
And so after the penalty, after Benson's second interception of the season, the Raiders with a first down at the 18 of New England. Shown by the Patriots. Bo with a handoff, or Steve Smith on the handoff. Smith got the football and picked his way forward to the 11-yard line. Give him a gain of 6 or 7. Lawrence McGrew on the tackle for the Patriots.
It wasn't too long ago, Tom, we talked about those goose eggs and those statistics. Look at this near miss handoff, but Beuerlein smartly gets the ball in there with some extended effort. But we mentioned earlier when we saw those statistics that neither team had committed a turnover, and that when they do start to come, we're going to see someone take control of this game. Well, New England had the first turnover, and here are the Raiders knocking at the door.
Trying to give their coach, Art Shell, a birthday present on his 43rd birthday. Smith again. Smith for the touchdown. Touchdown run by Steve Smith as the Raiders convert the turnover, the first of the game, into 6 points. 18 yards on 2 plays after the Benson interception. First touchdown of the season for Steve Smith. Jager's extra point attempt is through the uprights, and the Raiders strike first in the second half. Here's another look at the touchdown run by Smith. 12:01 left in the third quarter, and on this TD run, the Raiders retake the lead. Back in Los Angeles, where Smith's touchdown has given the Raiders the lead. Jager with the kickoff. kickoff for Los Angeles. Tucker fields it at the 6. He's got some room and a couple of blockers. Tucker out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Run out there by Russell Carter. But Tucker with a 37-yard kickoff return.
Boy, your offense needs a lift like that. Tucker just gave him a big lift. Here the Patriots try to blitz on the inside, and they get sealed off. Watch the block on the right by Bo Smith on Roland James. James made Bo Jackson look like a good blocker that time, Tom.
And the celebration of the touchdown. That old Raider spirit is back. It involves hugging only after touchdowns, I should point out. Here's the Patriots trying to answer. Grogan with a pass in the flat complete to Perryman. Perryman picks up about 6 or 7 yards to the 48. Mike Harden tackles him there. Robert Perryman has been a big feature in Raymond Berry's offense today, especially the way the Raiders have shut down John Stevens.
Well, you know, not so much that John Stevens gets shut down. It's that offensive line, I think. There's Lee Majors, the $6 million man. We have a lot of those playing pro football today, don't we?
He was a football player during his college days, I think. First at Eastern Kentucky University, then at Indiana University. Hand off to Perryman. Perryman down to the 47-yard line. Stopped there by Lyndon King. Hartley Dykes of the Patriots was shaken up momentarily, but is back in the game now for New England. And of course, injuries have been a problem for the Patriots all season long. It's been tough to get continuity with all these players out at one time or another. Some of them, of course, out for the season.
Well, when you lose Lippett, Tippett, and Veras, especially in there from your defense, buddy, that's going to hurt you a lot. Of course, the tight end position that Russ Francis played has been really solidified. I tell you, Eric Sievers has been doing a good job so far, along with Lynn Dawson for the Patriots.
3rd and 1. Perryman made it, but not by much. Bob Golick stacked things up in the middle of the line, and Perryman pounds ahead for the first down. The longest run today by the New England rushing offense has been a grand total of 4 yards.
Defensive front. The defensive front of these Raiders and the linebackers are just winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. Let's see, you see Babb, 68. He's not making any headway downfield. Howie Long is he's back there with Armstrong, even though the play has gone beyond him. Fortunately for the Pats, they made enough for the first down.
Yeah, they only needed a run, so a yard, I should say. So they are in Raider territory with a first down. Grogan's pass sails on him again. I think Cedric Jones was the intended receiver. Greg Townsend right again in the face of Steve Grogan. Returning again to the injuries of the Patriots. You saw the ones that are out for the season. There have been a number of other Patriot players who have missed a game or two. And there you see them as we sort out a penalty flag which went down on the field. It has to be a roll, Joe. There's so many of them. You can't get them all on one screen.
34 offense. It's declined. 2nd down.
Perryman's illegal motion is declined, and it will be 2nd and 10 for New England. There's a look at Robert Perryman and his coach Raymond Berry. Hall of Fame player who went to 5 Pro Bowls, 3 times was All-Pro, 13 years with the Baltimore Colts, 631 receptions. Grogan, plenty of time. Nobody's going to catch that one. Good coverage by the Raiders. Grogan couldn't find anybody. Cedric Jones was downfield, but still 20 yards away from the ball with Terry McDaniel running with him.
It's good protection. You see Grogan looking left. He wants to throw the ball, but there's no one to get it to, so he smartly throws it away and gave a chance to a receiver downfield, but the receiver couldn't get to it. There's really good coverage down there by the Raiders.
Chicago has tied Washington at RFK, and Phoenix with the lead on Tampa Bay. The Bandit defense, 6 DBs for the Raiders on the field. It's 3rd and 10. Grogan across the middle and almost intercepted. off the hands of Irving Fryer, and Eddie Anderson almost picked it up on the tip.
What is it? I mean, these guys are pros. Why do they drop the ball that's so nicely laid out in front of them, right through Irving Fryer's hand, coming left to right? Look at this, folks. Boom. What happens here? Does he close his eyes? I don't know. The ball just goes right through his hand. Gosh, you don't expect this from these kind of quality receivers.
On fourth down, Fiegels to punt. Adams is deep for the Raiders. Adams will let it bounce, and it'll go out of bounds at about the 11 or 12 yard line. It'll be a 34-yard kick as Fiegels downs it inside the Raider 20. We'll be back. Doubleheader. There are the updated standings in that wild AFC Central. Everybody's still in it. And, of course, many of you will see the key matchup between the Browns and the Bengals at the Dog Pound next week. That's the lineup on NBC. Week 13 coming up a week from today. Bo Jackson on the carry, didn't get very much. Johnny Rembert led the defensive charge for the Patriots. A reminder that we will be selecting a Budweiser Most Valuable Player in today's game. That comes up at the conclusion of the contest. Bo Jackson has rushed 9 times for 31 yards. And, of course, speaking of rushers, one of the great ones, Marcus Allen, still on injured reserve for the Los Angeles Raiders. He actually was eligible to come off IR this week, but the medical staff said he was not ready. There is a chance, though, he could start practicing with this Raider club next week. On second down, Beuerlein scrambles, and it is taken down at the 2-yard line. Vincent Brown, with his second sack of the day, takes Beuerlein to the turf at the 2.
Brown got some help from his friends in applying pressure back there. Kenneth Sims, the defensive end, gets some pressure. The top of your screen, watch number 77. He'll get in there and get his hand up on Beuerlein, first of all, to force him out. And then Brown cleans up. Good pressure by this Patriot front.
Big play by the defense of the Patriots, and so with 8:05 left in the third quarter, the Raiders with the 21-14 lead, but now backed up to their 2-yard line with a 3rd and 20. Bo makes a cutback at the 5 and pounds ahead to the 7. And it means the Raiders will have to punt from their own end zone. Trent Williams and Vincent Brown on the stop for New England. So Gossett will have to come on now to kick from his end zone. There he is, setting up, averaging nearly 38 yards a kick today. Errol Tucker, the deep man, standing on the Raider 45.
Errol Tucker back to receive.
Junkin, the backup tight end, is the punt center. You saw him lined up over the ball, and low snap from Junkin. Gossett's kick up and away. Tucker from the 44, straight up the middle, takes it to the 34-yard line. A 10-yard return after Gossett's punt covered 36 yards. Stephon Adams on the tackle for the Raiders, and we'll be back to the Coliseum. 14 at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Hope you've enjoyed a pleasant Thanksgiving holiday as we come to the end of the Thanksgiving weekend. How do pro football players usually get to spend their Thanksgiving?
Well, you're working for one thing, but usually after practice, the team gets together. We did with the Jets, with the wives, the families, and we all had a big Thanksgiving dinner together. That camaraderie is very special. And, you know, Tom, something sad happened this past week. A friend of ours, a former teammate of mine, Sherman Plunkett, one of our favorite players on the team, passed away. And I know all of us that have known Sherman over the years are going to miss him dearly.
First down play, and the pass is complete to Dykes. He didn't say no, it's Fry. Yes, it is Dykes in for the touchdown. 34 yards. Well, we turned around to see the play, and Hartley Dykes was streaking downfield. Grogan found him, and just like that, the Patriots moved 34 yards for a touchdown. That's the 4th straight week that Hartley Dykes has had a touchdown reception.
I'd say he's learning his offense, Tom. Hartley was talking about how tough it was to to play and learn at the same time. He's been frustrated early on, but now he's grasped this offensive system, and he's breaking out, boy.
Starofsky's extra point is good. Well, the New England Patriots strike very quickly. Grogan with his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. That's his first game this season with 3 TD passes. And Hartley Dykes with the touchdown catch.
Well, you'll see Dykes streaking across the screen right to left, number 88. No one is close to him right now. He breaks underneath that zone defense and outruns Mike Harden, 45, and gets into the end zone. Just a zone defense, and Dykes is able to break underneath the safety man and find that dead spot. You see McDaniels, 36, just lets him go. You see, he points to him. He's going to cross the field underneath the deep safeties and short of the linebackers in that dead area, and Grogan delivers just perfectly right on target.
What did he say to us yesterday? It had been pretty frustrating. He missed training camp, behind in the offense, and had never spent time on the bench. Said he just wanted his chance. He's getting his chance now, and another touchdown catch for Hartley Dykes. That's his 5th of the season. 21-21 game with 6:52 left in the 3rd quarter.
Right there, Stanley Morgan in the black jacket with the white stripe on it with his back to us. Coach Barry told us that he was bringing Stanley out here to help these receivers dissect the defense. Some of his wisdom. Of course, Stanley's one of the premier receivers for many years with New England.
Starofsky's tick taken by Adams. And Adams with another good kick return across the 30 to the 32-yard line. And that's where the Raiders will put it in play. Bruce Schultz on the tackle for the New England Patriots. A recheck of the late NFL action. 3rd quarter scores in those 3 games, and it's the 3rd quarter here at the Coliseum. And we're tied once again, and at 21 apiece, a seesaw game as Terry Rubisky and Art Shell look on from the Raider sideline. Their offense on the field. Smith and Jackson are the running backs. Bowe tries to cut back and is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Little or no gain. Kenneth Sims ready for the cutback move by Bo Jackson.
The cutback move by Bo, because Brent Williams really cut that area off outside. Brent Williams is just doing a well of a job from the defensive end position, and Bo had nowhere to go, and he cut back, and the rest of the Pats were right there waiting for him.
This has been a clinic on run defense today by both teams. And, of course, a big defensive play. The sack of Beuerlein put New England in position to get that tying touchdown a moment ago. Beuerlein, a little touch pass complete to Steve Smith. And Smith chugs straight ahead to the 40. He's going to be only a yard short of the 1st down. Ed Reynolds not making much headway in throwing back Steve Smith, who kept the legs pounding and went for about a 9-yard gain. Well, Al Davis looks on, and been hard times in recent years for Al Davis and the Raiders, something they're not used to. Commitment to excellence is their slogan, and a slogan they've lived up to for the most part.
That gentleman sitting next to Al Davis is the great center, Jim Otto, who had played with the Raiders for goodness, what, 14 years? There's Jim Otto in the light jacket.
Well, just win baby is what they've done a lot. Here's Dial and Junkin, 2 tight ends on a tight formation, and a 1st down run by the Raiders. Steve Smith gets the necessary yardage and a couple to spare.
Good, strong running by Steve Smith, but a good hole by his offensive line for a change. You see that huge hole that he can get through before he's finally met. He just needed a yard, so give that right side of the offensive line, Wilkerson and Wisniewski, credit that time.
1st down for the Raiders just across their own 45. Bowe falls to the 50. He got 4 yards when it didn't look like he would get very much at all. That defensive charge led by Tim Goad and Brent Williams.
The young offensive line. Watch number 60, Rory Graves, this time. He tries to kick out on Brent Williams, but Williams is still able to fall back in, not necessarily make the play. But the problem for the Raiders has been over on Rory Graves' side, the left side of the offensive line. He's not playing poorly today, but that's where they're most concerned.
Saw the numbers on Bo Jackson, 41 yards, 12 carries. Beuerlein has has a man wide open. It's Smith. Smith just gets his foot out of bounds. Was trying to cut upfield to get more, but nudged out by Vincent Brown.
Well, you see now, Vincent Brown is strong. He can take on blockers at the point of attack, but he can't cover Steve Smith. Brown is not known right now for his agility downfield and covering pass receivers. But boy, you turn him loose in the hole, and he's going to knock that runner backwards. He's the most powerful tackler the Patriots have on defense.
That pass completion to Smith, close to a first down. They'll take the chains all the way across the field to measure. 3:53 left in the third quarter, 21 points apiece.
You know, wouldn't they save time if they had two sets of chains? One set on one side, another set on the other side. All you do is mark them exactly each time, and you'd save this right now. You wouldn't have to be waiting for the chains to be carried all the way across the field.
I'm trying to think of a good answer just for argument's sake, but I can't come up with one.
Maybe it's not complicated enough.
We're saving money this way. Only one chain. How about that? You won't buy that, huh?
Nope.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Two teams with flickering playoff hopes trying to stay alive. 21-21 game. First down Raiders at the 44 of the Patriots. Beuerlein's pass complete to Fernandez. Ducks under the tackler Roland James, but can't get any more yardage out of it. It'll be about a 5-yard gain.
Beuerlein did a marvelous job that time. He wanted to go deep to Willie Gault, but Gault was well covered back there by Hurst, so he came all the way back on this. Look, he's going to look down the field. See, he wants to get to Gault. He can't get it to Gault, so he comes all the way over here and completes the pass. I'll tell you, Beuerlein is a poised quarterback. This guy's really cool.
He said that was one of his assets, finding the right man to go to and finding a way to beat you, maintaining his poise. Bow inside the 40 down to the 39 of the Patriots. Steve Beuerlein grew up in Southern California, played football, basketball, baseball, and was a swimmer in high school before he went to South Bend, Indiana. Was an All-American at Notre Dame, holds nearly all the Irish passing and total offense records. You've liked him all along. You thought he had a lot of potential, had some injuries that hurt his progress, but really coming into his own.
That's right. I liked him in his first year last year. I liked him in the exhibition season. He's the more consistent passer accuracy-wise compared to Schrader, and he's doing a good job out there.
Vance Mueller replaces Jackson in the backfield. 3rd and 4. Beuerlein wide open to dial the tight end. He's got it at the 14 of the Patriots, excuse me, the 24 of New England, where Fred Marion makes the hit after a 15-yard gain.
Once again, Beuerlein picking himself up off the ground. Those Patriots are getting there a hair late, but they're making Beuerlein take a beating. Look, he'll set up here, and just as he releases the ball, he's going to get nailed. But he does put the ball on target. Brent Williams again is right back there in his face, but not before he can get the ball out to dial.
Fred Marion made the tackle and is a little shaken up as you see the pressure on Beuerlein. Brent Williams all over him for a takedown.
Would you see how that helmet hits the ground? When you fall on your back, sometimes the back of your head and helmet hits the ground, buddy, and that jar doesn't feel very good.
That'll be a little easier on this turf than it would be on the artificial stuff.
Oh, yes, much easier. That artificial stuff is awful.
There's a look at the New England defense getting set for a first down Raider play. Darrell Holmes is in to replace Fred Marion at the free safety after Marion was shaken up. First down from the Patriot 24. Patriots jumped off sides, free play for the Raiders. It's only a couple of yard gain, so they'll undoubtedly take the penalty. Tim Goad, the nose tackle, got a head start.
I tell you, once again, you want your defensive lineman to explode when that ball starts to move, not when the quarterback is given.
Offside, 72 defense. Still first down.
Not when the quarterback gives it that hard count. He gives it a hard count. You see, watch him go hard with that snap count. You can't see Goad jump offside, but Goad is right in front of the center, right in front of the football. How can you jump offside?
Fred Marion back in for the Patriots now. 1st and 5 for the Raiders. Beuerlein hit, manages to stumble away, but he'll be ruled in the grasp back at about the 28-yard line. Kenneth Sims again putting the pressure on Beuerlein. He'll get credit for his 3rd sack of the season. That is the 4th of the afternoon for the New England defense.
From the left side of the screen, number 77, Kenneth Sims is going to come into the play, and I'm happy to see that. I'll tell you, Sims has had a tough career with the injuries. You know, he had the back injury early on. Last season in the first game, he had a torn Achilles tendon, but Sims has worked himself back into shape and is having a darn good year.
You know, last year he played only 1 game after he injured his leg in the opening game of the '88 season, and you're right, good to have him back. Jackson set wide to the right. Beuerlein with a pass to Dial, which is complete for a short gain. Beuerlein shaking his head on that one. He has that Southern California All-American boy look, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He has a baffled look right now, the way he's walking around out there. What do I do next? That was only 2nd down, not 3rd. Still have another chance for a 1st down here.
Clock ticking away toward the end of the 3rd quarter. Galt, Fernandez, and Alexander 3 wides in if they can get the playoff before the quarter ends, which looks doubtful at this point. And the 3rd quarter will come to an end before the Raiders get the playoff. At the end of 3 periods, Raiders and Patriots are tied. Roy and director J.D. Hansen. This is Tom Hammond along with Joe Namath at the Coliseum. The Raider fans enjoying a good game today, as it's a 21-21 tie as we start the 4th quarter. Art Shell on his birthday said he would dearly love a win for his birthday present this afternoon. And Joe, you asked him if he'd rather be anyplace else on his birthday. He said, right here at the football game. Beuerlein with a pass. Miscommunication there with his intended receiver, Willie Galt. Galt has really not been in the game today. He dropped one earlier, and this time either he broke the wrong way or it certainly was the opposite way that Beuerlein expected.
Well, I think it was a bad pass by Beuerlein. Galt's going to run a little fake inside, then break out, and he's wide open, but the ball is so far behind him he can't adjust to it. He certainly was open. I don't know if it had the 1st down or not, but Beuerlein, he's got to be a little upset. He missed him. He was wide open.
Jaeger will try a 45-yard field goal. Gossett the holder. And it's no good. So Jeff Jaeger misses from 45 yards in an attempt to break the tie. It stays 21-21. We'll be back to the Coliseum after these messages from your local station. The National Football League, and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the NFL, the New England Patriots, and L.A. Raiders. All rights reserved. New England with the football. 21-21 game. 14:50 left in the 4th quarter. New England has rushed 18 times for only 23 yards. Their longest gain has been 4. So Grogan will go to the air. Intended for Perryman, turned him around and then off his hands, off the mark and incomplete.
Well, that's a tough one for the Pats and Steve Grogan. Perryman was wide open. Grogan just missed him that time. Had good pass protection from his line, but just misfired.
There is that stat on the Patriots' rushing offense. New England looked to get its running game going, and they've been completely shut off. Grogan now with a 2nd and 10. Howie Long hit Grogan, and the ball was almost intercepted by McDaniel. Cedric Jones, the intended receiver. Howie Long got to Grogan just as he let the ball go, and McDaniel cut in front for the near pickoff.
Oh, excellent coverage by McDaniel, number 36 that time. Watch him. He'll stay right with Cedric Jones, and when that ball comes, McDaniel's in excellent position to make the catch. You see here, he's a little off balance. Otherwise, he has a chance at an interception. saw Steve making a gesture like he wanted that receiver to come across the middle harder, but where the ball was, I don't think it would have made any difference.
5 defensive backs for the Raiders on 3rd and 10. Grogan again throws it incomplete. Perryman closest to it. And once again, pressure on Grogan, this time from... And we got the picture back now. There's the punt by Fiegels, a high punt and a good one. Adams calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 32-yard line. 40-yard kick, no return. It'll be 21-21 from the Coliseum. 8 left in the football game, 21-21 contest. Two teams with slight playoff hopes, trying to stay alive. One of the two needs to get hot today and win out almost. And right now the issue is still in doubt. Raiders ball on 1st down. Jackson squirts ahead for a couple of yards. There's Wilkerson getting up, who is leading the interference, and Bo has been held relatively in check today, primarily by that New England defensive front. Sims and Go did the job that time. Bo is carried for 45 yards on 15 totes of the football. Washington has regained the lead against the Bears, and Phoenix still on front. Still out in front of Tampa under their new coach. Gene Stallings, of course, fired earlier this week. Beuerlein completes a pass. Steve Smith carrying a tackler. Lawrence McGrew with him. Piggybacked him all the way for a 1st down.
Excellent pass reception by Steve Smith. On the left side of your screen, you'll see 35 just crossing the middle and Beuerlein getting it into him. And how Smith holds on to that ball with McGrew yanking at it, I'll never know. It's a good job.
Art Shell's Raiders in business with a 1st down at the 44-yard line of Los Angeles. Jackson and Smith in the backfield. Split back formation. Steve Smith with a nice run inside Patriot territory to the 49-yard line, where Johnny Rembert ties him up and takes him down.
Well, you want to see a collision. At the top of your screen, watch number 60 hit Brent Williams right there. Good collision. The weak spot supposedly in this Raider line has been Roy Graves at left tackle, but I tell you what, today Graves is doing a good job over there. He hasn't been beaten in his pass protection. He's doing a pretty good job on his running game.
Brent Williams leaving the field now on this 2nd down play coming up, and Bo Jackson is also out as you look at Williams on the sideline. Vance Mueller has come on for Jackson in the backfield for the Raiders on 2nd and 3. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Tim Goad and Vincent Brown in the middle of that Patriot defense, stopping Smith for only a half-yard or so gain.
Oh, that was a big play by this Patriot defense. I mean, it was 2nd down and about 3, and they held him less to a half-yard. Now it's 3rd down and a long 2.5. So Ray Berry has to be pleased with that last defensive effort.
So it's 3rd now. 3rd down and about 2. Smith has the pass and a 1st down to the Patriot 40. Ed Reynolds was covering him on the play but couldn't stop the completion. And Beuerlein has another 1st down toss.
Well, you know, when you're not playing man coverage, when your linebackers are dropping off, watch the snap. You'll see Rembert drop back. These guys, the linebackers, right by the hash marks, are going back. Now look at this little underneath area where Smith comes. Wide open, and they only needed 2 yards. When it's that short of a yardage situation, you'd think your linebackers would clamp on those running backs coming out of the backfield.
11 minutes left in the game. 21-21 tie. Beuerlein in the flat, complete to Mueller. Mueller tries to put on a move or two and then decides just to lower his head and pound straight ahead. And Maurice Hurst takes him out of bounds. And we have an injured Patriot on the field as Beuerlein looks over, see how much yardage he did gain. Still don't know who the injured New England player is. And while they tend to the injury, we'll take a break. 10:52 left in a tie game. These teams would get hot today and pull out a playoff berth. We still don't know which one it is, however. The Raiders trying to break a 21-21 tie with a 2nd and 2 from the 32 of New England. Steve Smith with another nice first down run. Smith has been the most productive ball carrier for either team today. He blasts inside the 25 of the Patriots here. He's carried 6 times for 42 yards. Lawrence McGrew stops him for New England.
Pretty good blocking by 76 with Newski on the right side, and Smith cuts back through the hole. Number 76 gets out there, throws a good block. Now again, we haven't had the turnovers in this game, Tom. We had 1 turnover so far that led to the Patriots score, but other than that, these teams have been holding on to the ball.
Tim Gold was the Patriots shaken up a couple of plays ago. He's replaced by Milford Hodge in the New England defense. Smith again didn't get much that time. Stacked up by Johnny Rembert and others on the New England defense.
You know, Tom, I said these teams have been holding on to the ball. There's no telling what kind of game would have had they been catching the passes that they've dropped so far.
A number of drop passes on either side. Clock ticking away down to 9:42. Raymond Berry and his staff trying to think of something defensively to stop this Raider drive.
Well, he's talking to Dick Wood right now, the quarterback coach, and Wood may be giving some offensive information for the next series.
The marquee rushers have been held in check today. Jackson. Bo fights his way for a couple of tough yards inside the Patriot 20 down to the 18-yard line. Bo Jackson, who has been nursing some bumps and bruises, just an accumulation of them, according to his coach Art Shell, and said he needs rest. That's the one thing he can't give him. Broncos well on their way to clinching the AFC West today. Game in Los Angeles. 3rd and 4 for the Raiders at the 18 of New England. Blitz coming from New England. The Raiders pick it up. Dial tries to make a one-handed catch as a flag goes down. Vincent Brown, the linebacker, was covering the tight end to see if it's interference. No, it'll be holding, but against New England.
Defense. First down.
Vincent Brown on the hold of Mike Dial.
Once again, Brown's not known. Look on the right side of your screen, right in front of us. You see 84 Dial, and he can't quite get away from Brown's grasp. Brown, once again, not known for his pass coverage, is in the game because Tim Jordan, the linebacker, has a bad hamstring muscle. Doing a good job again, Brown is in the running game, but not the passing game.
First down at the 13 of New England. Jackson. Bo is to the 9. 4-yard gain for Bo on first down. Stop for the middle of the New England defense. Trey Junkin comes in at tight end now, replacing Mike Dial, who was shaken up on that attempted pass reception a couple of plays ago. Spot the ball back at the 10-yard line now, where it's 2nd and 7. 21-21 tie, 7:46 and counting. Stacked up and thrown back. Ed Reynolds and Milford Hodge met Smith right at the line of scrimmage, and he didn't get much.
Yeah, and he lost that ball, too. Yeah, Steve Wisniewski, number 76, came up with the football. There was a tremendous shot put on Steve Brown, or rather Smith. Let's see if we can see the ball come loose here. There's a good hit. Right now the ball's coming out. Wisniewski, 76, is going to be the first one to get on it.
Brent Williams knocked the ball loose, but Wisniewski saved the play for the Raiders with the fumble recovery, and now they have it 3rd and 6 from the 9-yard line of New England. Beuerlein's pass incomplete. There's a penalty marker down. Vance Mueller, the intended receiver. It's in the area where you would expect.
63 offense. Still 3rd down.
Holding, as I was going to say. John Giesick was guilty of the hold, as Johnny Greer called it.
Yeah, well, right now, I don't know whether I'd take this penalty. What's number 63 on the left side of your screen? You see that right arm get in there? Looky there. He's holding, he's tackling Brent Williams. Meantime, I wouldn't have taken this penalty. I don't know if the Patriots are, but I don't think 10 yards is going to make any difference to the field goal kicker here. And why give the Raiders another chance to score a touchdown? So I would decline this penalty and let him go ahead and try to make the field goal. I sure wouldn't want to give the Raiders another chance for a first down or a touchdown. There's Jaeger.
Holding. 63 offense. Still 3rd down.
You're asking for trouble here.
So they will take the penalty. It'll set the ball back at the 19.
No way I'd have taken that penalty. Let him go ahead and try and kick it. But nope. The Raiders are going to get another chance for a first down, a touchdown, a pass interference call, who knows what, a defensive holding call. I just don't like taking that penalty.
All right, let's see if it was the right decision. 6:46 left in a tie game. 3 wide receivers, Galt, Fernandez, Alexander. Beuerlein completes it short. Mueller is going to be ruled down by contact short of the first down at about the 15. Johnny Rembert got him down there.
Well, there's good protection here. Mueller gets the pass, but he's not going to go anywhere. Rembert's right there to tap him down, so to speak. He gets his hands on him now while his knee's on the ground. The play is over.
So Art Shell sends the field goal unit out. It'll be a 32-yard field goal. Jaeger missed his only other try today. And it's good. Jeff Jaeger with a 32-yard field goal has given the Raiders the lead, 24-21.
I ask you, is this a man with the look of confidence on his face? Check those eyes out, huh? He nails it. Then he'll give us that look of relief because that baby made it through this time.
And Jaeger with a kickoff following his 32-yard field goal. Taken by Taylor. Taylor picking his way across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Stop there made by Steve Strahan. And so the clock shows 5:48 left in the game. 24-21. The Raiders taking a 3-point lead as Los Angeles consumed over 8.5 minutes on that last drive. Full complement of timeouts remaining for each team.
This is going to be the real test of the Patriot running game right now. They have 5.5 minutes left. They've got to be able to run the football some here, use some time on the clock, advance it downfield.
Steve Grogan has not had a good second half. He's hit only 2 of 9 passes for 39 yards. Did have a touchdown pass, but also an interception. And he's going down the sideline here, and the receiver stopped. Irving, or the intended receiver, Hartley Dykes, looked to me, Joe, like he stopped in the middle of that pattern. There is a penalty marker down.
Well, I think he was going to run a little stop and go move. He was trying to get downfield, and he may have been grabbed a little bit over there by McDaniel. We get a replay shot of this. You will clearly see Dykes slow down and try to take off again.
Pass interference, 36 defense, first down.
So McDaniel guilty of the interference, and there was a reason he stopped.
Well, let's check it out now. I think Dykes is going to go try and put a move on him, and when he puts the move on him, that's when McDaniel's going to grab him. Let's see him, right? Well, he's grabbing him anyway right there. Not allowed to do that. Got to keep your hands off of it.
So the most penalized team in the league, the Raiders, has a flag there. Give the Patriots a first down. And on first down. Grogan to the air again. That one incomplete. John Stevens had it knocked loose by the hit of Tom Benson.
That's one of the ugliest offensive plays I've seen in a while. Grogan was really late getting that ball to Stevens. Benson read it all the way. All Benson had to do was close on it. He's on the left side of your screen, number 54. He sees Grogan looking there, and there's Benson.
Hurry up offense. Grogan lets it fly again. Cedric Jones can't come up with it. Made a diving attempt. Howie Long sent Grogan on his backside, and the pass off the mark. Tough second half for Steve Grogan today after he looked good in the first two periods.
Well, Steve has misfired on a couple of passes. There have been a couple of good defensive plays and a couple of big drops. I keep thinking of that prior drop while he was crossing the line, and my, what a good hit Howie Long puts on Grogan.
The Bandit defense, 6 defensive backs for the Raiders. Raymond Berry's punt facing a 3rd and 10. Intended for Fryer is incomplete. Good coverage by Zepp Lee that time. Step for step with Irving Fryer.
I'll tell you, the best thing that happened to the Patriots on this drive is they only used about 24 seconds or so off the clock. They didn't hit a pass. Each incompletion stopped the clock, so they should get the ball back if Ray Berry's defense can hold the Raiders.
The Raiders have played errorless football today, not a turnover. Grogan on the sideline after 3 plays and out. Beagles to punt. Adams. Hit hard and dropped after a 10-yard return. Beagles punt only covered 34 yards. So a net of only 24 on that change of possession. Let's recap all the scores now. Week 12 action. And as always, some surprises.
Well, that biggest surprise so far is Green Bay over Minnesota to me. Of course, Kansas City shutting out Houston. Gee whiz.
Now the Raiders will try to do a little ball control in their offense. Jackson and Smith are the running backs in the I formation. 24-21 Los Angeles. Jackson. Ball almost got loose. He's to the 48-yard line. 11 yards and a first down.
Beautiful cutback running by Bo Jackson going left. Now he's going to cut back underneath the pursuit. Fred Marion, 31, shuts off the lane, and then Ken Sims comes in to make the tackle along with Brown. But Bo Jackson, boy, you give him a crack. You better be careful. He's liable to take it all the way.
Well, I gave him the first down, but I'm not sure they're going to have to measure it to see. We'll see how keen my eye is today.
Well, defensively, you almost hope they make this first down rather than give them another play or 2 plays to make the first down.
Just inches short. And ball control has been the name of the game the last 2 possessions for Shell and the Raiders. 15 and a half minutes they've consumed the last 2 times they've had the ball.
What little playoff hopes New England has are certainly dwindling here.
Neither team can actually afford a loss. The Raiders can't catch Denver. They clinched today, but they still are alive for a wild card. Smith didn't need much, didn't get much. Kenneth Sims at the bottom of the stack for the Patriots. Enough for the first down as the clock continues to roll.
Berry checking that clock now. That's his big enemy, Andre Tippett, to Coach Berry's right. He could help this defense.
Well, assuming Denver goes on to win today, they clinch the divisional title. And you see the Raiders 5-6, hoping to reach 500 with a victory today. At this point of the season, it's hard to count anybody out of the wild card race.
Well, you can count San Diego and Seattle out, that's for sure.
Well, those of you on the West Coast, hope you'll stay with us for the Skins game. Curtis 41-7, the Broncos on their way to that clinching victory against the Seattle Seahawks.
Patriots want to start tackling that football, try to create a turnover here.
And the Patriots trying to avoid a losing season, 4-7 coming into today's game. No gain. Brent Williams, who's had a good game 2 in a row now for the Patriots, on the stop of Bo Jackson.
Oh, he had a big game last week against Buffalo. Been playing well all season. Coach Berry says he's been the steadiest player out there, Brent Williams has. Good against the run, good against the pass, and he's all around the football, recovering fumbles and causing them.
New England calls a timeout, stopping the clock with 4 minutes and 8 seconds left. The ball right at midfield. The Raiders have it. They lead 24-21. It'll be second and about 9. That's the timeout situation now. The Patriots down to their final.
Beuerlein wants to keep that clock going. He has a second down and 8 or 9. I really don't think they should go to the air here. Try and keep the ball on the ground another play, either force the Patriots to call a timeout or use up some of that valuable time on the clock.
Two tight ends, Dial and Horton. There's the day for Beuerlein. Hasn't thrown an interception and does have 2 touchdown passes. Mueller in the backfield for Jackson and gets the toss and stopped for a loss of 2. Kenneth Sims, as the clock reaches 4 minutes, made the tackle for a loss. Sims and Williams especially have been awfully tough up front for the Patriots.
They certainly have, and I continue to marvel at Sims. I mean, you come back from a ruptured Achilles tendon, buddy. That's a tremendous recovery. And of course, he had the bad back in the '86 season. So the 8-year veteran from Texas is doing a good job this season, and he's in the last year of his contract, so I think that's going to help him for the future.
Well, you may be getting some thanks the next time you see him for that little vote of confidence. 3 wides for the Raiders on 3rd and 10. Beuerlein scrambles, taken down, almost lost the football. Did manage to hang on to it as he reaches the 48 of New England. Vincent Brown tackled him and almost stripped the football as well.
That's right, and Beuerlein has the bad right knee. He tries to get upfield. He certainly doesn't want to throw interception, so he decides to eat it and try and gain some yardage, but he can't really run very well.
On 4th down, Gossett will punt. 37.4 his average on 5 kicks today, and that's Errol Tucker at his own 10. Sailing kick by Gossett. Tucker lets it go, and it'll die. Takes a little bit of a Raider kick back away from the end zone and is down at the 8-yard line. A 40-yard kick. More importantly, it's inside the New England 10.
Well, Gossett did a tremendous job that time, punting the ball back there. Ray Berry's offense can't get it going. Gossett puts it right inside that 10-yard line. You know, I saw Earl Tucker run away from the ball. He did the right thing. Tucker wasn't supposed to try and catch that ball. The ball hit on about the 4-yard line.
24-21, only 2:28 left. The Patriots have 1 timeout remaining. The ball is spotted at their own 9-yard line. Running play to Stevens. Hit from behind, taken down at the 16-yard line by Scott Davis. Are you surprised they went to the run?
Not with Stevens, boy. I'm not surprised anytime they give him the ball because he's one of those guys that can take it all the way.
Approaching the 2-minute warning, they'll try to get one more play. Grogan deep down the sideline. Intercepted. Terry McDaniel picked it off. McDaniel was stride for stride with Cedric Jones down the sideline in perfect position to make the interception. And with the interception, we'll come to the 2-minute warning with the Raiders leading 24-21.
Number 83, Cedric Jones, is going downfield, and 36, Perry McDaniel's there. Now, what Jones needs to do here is fight for that ball, rip it out of McDaniel's hands if he can. Try and break up the interception, but McDaniel just makes a great play, and here's Grogan. He's got to be disappointed. You know, he wants his receiver to get up there and at least break the pass up if he can't catch it.
Raymond Berry watches another great defensive play by McDaniel, who's had an excellent game. Second interception tossed by Steve Grogan, who's had a tough second half. In the second half today, Grogan 2 of 13 for 39 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. There are his numbers. New England's running game has been shut off, which doesn't help Grogan's passing stats any, because the Raiders have shut down the rushing attack. 19 rushes for 30 yards for New England today.
Art Shell going to get a happy birthday present if they can hold on to the ball the rest of the way.
While we have a moment, this thanks Dennis Mnuchin and Stan Ataka on stats today. Ron Lux and Chuck Panama are spotters. And as expected, the Raiders keep it right on the ground, trying to chew up the clock, and the Patriots expend their final timeout. 1:55 left in the game. The Raiders clinging to a 3-point lead. Can just about salt away the victory. Dial and Horton, 2 tight ends on the field. The Patriots have just used their final timeout.
Yeah, I don't even think they need a first down, Tom. If they play their cards right, they're going to be able to run this clock out.
The Raiders lined up an offense that time with a safety man in the formation, just in case. Well, if the Hollywood script writers do, as you see the timeout situation, come through as expected, the Raiders will stay alive in their hopes for the playoffs. And Art Shell told us yesterday the Raiders never do anything easily. They lost 2 in a row just when it looked like they had things going. But perhaps this will be the game that turns it around, a hard-fought game against the New England Patriots today.
The Raiders have done a good job. No fumbles, not giving that ball up. You know, anytime you can keep those turnovers at a minimum, you've got a better chance of winning. And that defensive front of the Raiders, well, you know, they've had to do a well of a job to shut down the running attack of the Patriots.
And the Raiders take a timeout there as the play clock is.
I'll tell you what.
So the Raiders, unexpectedly, with a timeout. Player Award sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP from the Los Angeles Raiders is Steve Smith. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. This was a touchdown run by Steve Smith, who carried 9 times for 47 yards, the most productive runner in the game today on average yards per carry. He also had 4 receptions for 32 yards. Good all-round game for Steve Smith, our Bud MVP. And Smith will add to those rushing totals, although not by much, as he gets a couple of tough yards through the middle. Well, ball control right now very much in evidence, and New England, Joe, had the ball only 1:13 in the 4th quarter of this game.
Well, you know what's going to happen here. The Raiders are going to have to punt no matter what. I don't think they'll take a penalty and then try to run another running play. They're going to have to punt, and you've got to expect New England to come after the ball. I don't even know why Tucker's back there. I'd send all 11 guys to try and block this one.
Clock continues to tick now inside 30 seconds. Gossett in punt formation.
They're going to get it down to about 19 or 18 seconds or so if they run this clock out.
But New England will get the ball back. And the Raiders stop the clock with a timeout and 16 seconds showing. Well, the executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. Today's game produced by Tom Roy and directed by J.D. Henson. NFL Live produced by David Neal and directed by Bucky Guntz. The NFL Live News producer Ricky Diamond. Technical directors Mike Strominski and Richard Sansevier. I'd also like to thank, on behalf of Joe and myself, Ray Bonassi and Ed Fibashoff for their efforts in today's game, a good one between the Raiders and the Patriots. Grogan will have one last chance. 24-21. The Raiders with the lead. 16 seconds left, and Gossett will have to punt. Tucker is the deep man for the New England Patriots.
All the pressure right now is on that snapper. The Junkin that's snapping for the punt.
Right. Good snap. Gossett with a kick, which hangs up. Tucker takes it at the 18. Tries to get out of bounds and just barely made it out of bounds. A 10-yard return after Gossett's punt covered 39 yards. Adams downfield for the tackle. 7 seconds left. Well, last week, one of the big plays of Week 11 was a Hail Mary pass from Dan Marino just before the half against Dallas, which resulted in a narrow Dolphin victory. It was the difference in the game. Can Grogan pull out a Hail Mary here?
A Hail Mary to one side and the hold hook and lateral to the other side is a possibility. You line 3 receivers up on one side and one over here, and you make everyone think you're going long, but you throw it out here to the hook man and let him lateral it. That's another way this play can be run.
Prevent defense for the Raiders. 7 seconds left. 24-21 Los Angeles. Grogan will throw it as far as he can. Intercepted. Eddie Anderson still going. Stopped at the 5 as time runs out. Eddie Anderson, with his 5th interception of the season, brought it back 55 yards as the game comes to an end. The last gasp try by the Patriots comes up short. So the Los Angeles Raiders still stay alive in their quest for a wild card berth. 24-21. We'll be right back.